Yo, Big D here with my conference championship picks on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. Before I tell you about Championship Sunday, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page, see all my streams, and all the videos I upload. Big D Podcast. Speaking of the podcast, we'll be back with you. Episodes shortly. You can also check out the Big D Podcast on Spotify and Apple. But tomorrow is one of the craziest days of the NFL season. Not just one, but we're down to two. We're down to two slates left: Championship Sunday tomorrow and the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So, you ready? It's time for Conference Championship Weekend. Ooh. NFC between the Niners and Eagles. AFC between the Bengals and Chiefs. Yeah, sign me up. Whether you like Philly cheesesteaks or barbecue, there'll be plenty of food for everybody tomorrow evening. So let's talk NFC first between the San Francisco 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't think we can. And how many people predicted Brock Purdy to be starting on Championship Sunday for the San Francisco 49ers? Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah. I don't think anybody predicted Brock Purdy to be San Francisco's starting quarterback with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo before the season started. But, Brock Purdy's been everything the Niners could have asked of him and then some since taking over in Week 13. I mean, Brock Purdy's thrown 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and won all 7 of his starts. And if you count the game against Miami, where he played 8-0 in meaningful action. So, but tomorrow's going to be the toughest test of his young career because they're not just going on the road. They're not just flying across the country. They're playing one of the loudest environments in football against a great defense in the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you look at the 49ers offensively. They feature not a good, but an unbelievable mix of everything you could want if you're a young quarterback. Probably the best running back in football, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, people may say, well, Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs or Saquon. Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in football. How he was in Pro Bowl this year is beyond me, but we may talk about it next week. But McCaffrey can do things that no other running back in the league can. And Samson's got him for these kind of games. And we get to see them all, whether or not Christian McCaffrey is not just a good running back, a great running back, but potentially one who can impact big games. Because we've seen running backs in big situations. Some have shined, some have fallen by the wayside. So CMC's got his chance tomorrow. But it's not just CMC and with the Samsons. Deebo Samuel, Mr. Everything. He might run the ball. He might catch the ball. Heck, he might even throw the ball. And Deebo's not just your ordinary running back or wide receiver. He's like a tweener. He can do a little bit of everything. And I'm intrigued how Kyle Shannon gets those guys the ball, because I think depending on what happens, you could see those guys get 30, 35 touches between them. It could be McCaffrey, Deebo, backfield receiving the ball all afternoon tomorrow. But then you look at Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. Samson's got maybe the best quartet of running back, receiver, whatever Deebo Samuel is, and George Kittle in the league. And not to mention that, probably the best left tackle in football still is Trent Williams. Not to mention Oh, yeah, the defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa. Yeah, you see why the San Francisco 49ers are playing on Championship Sunday. But the Philadelphia Eagles are also awfully talented. Jalen Hurts, I mean, I feel like Jalen Hurts has overcome a lot. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy, then Tua came and replaced him, won the national championship against Georgia and Atlanta, and then Tua was the starter, and Jalen Hurts replaced him in that one SC title game, and then Hurts transferred to Oklahoma. Well, Lincoln Riley turned a Heisman caliber quarterback, and since then, I feel like Eagle fans don't know what to think of Jalen Hurts. Well, this year, Jalen Hurts was phenomenal. I mean, some people think he could be an MVP candidate. I think the two guys in the AFC Championship game might have something to say about it, but I feel like Jalen Hurts has improved the most over most of the over most of the young quarterbacks I've seen. We knew that Jalen Hurts was a power running quarterback, but he's become a much better passer, not just because Philadelphia's added weapons, but I think Nick Sirianni has given Jalen Hurts the freedom. The Eagles have blended what Jalen Hurts can do with all that talent around because the Eagles can bring two or three different running backs. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, and company. I mean, not to mention, the Eagles went out and potentially made the move of the offseason, getting A.J. Brown. How the Eagles got A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans befuddles me because the Eagles needed a number one receiver. And A.J. Brown is a number one receiver. And you put him with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, the Eagles now have got an offense capable of winning the Super Bowl. They've got an offense capable of winning the Super Bowl because if you double A.J. Smith, Devontae Smith's going to beat you. You double Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown's going to beat you. If you try and double both of them, then Dallas Goedert will get 10 catches. Oh, yeah, and the Eagles can run the ball, so if Philadelphia gets a late lead, the Eagles have and Nick Sirianni don't have a problem running the ball for 9 minutes as they proved against the Giants last week. So, plus, while San Francisco may have the best tackle in football, I think the Eagles have the best offensive line in football, particularly run block. And when you look at Jason Kelsey, yes, Jason Kelsey, he's still doing it into his 30s, and Lane Johnson. I mean, Lane Johnson, despite maybe not being 100% last week, made a huge difference, opened up big holes, and the Eagles' run game took off. That Eagle team last week looked like the Eagle team for the first 8, 9, 10 games of the year where Philadelphia didn't lose. So, oh yeah, and Philadelphia's got a great defense of its own I'll talk more about it in a little bit. Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson. I mean, the Eagles have a great secondary, so they're all studs everywhere. I mean, Warner, Warner for the 49ers, they're all studs everywhere. You can make a team based on the starters on the Eagles and the starters on the 49ers and probably win the Super Bowl. And speaking of the Eagles, I don't believe I saw a player on the Eagles' final injury report. That's not just good luck, that's really good luck. The fact that everybody's ready to rumble the ball. If you're a coach like, oh, it's injury report, I'm like, what injury report? Well, ready to rumble. Let's go. So I think the key in this game is I think there are a couple keys in this game. One, which team controls the line of scrimmage because you've got a great offensive line against a great defense line for both teams. So who wins that line of scrimmage battle? Secondly, does Brock Purdy feel the pressure? Because This is the biggest game of his NFL career. And yes, if you look at the contrast in 2 playoff games, the wild card round against Seattle, he was great. But Seattle didn't put the amount of pressure that he'll face tomorrow. And last week against Dallas, Brock only completed 19 of 29 passes for 214 yards, no touchdowns. And Dallas finished the third in the NFL with 54 sacks. Well, guess who led the NFL in sacks this year? With 70. That's right, 7-0. 70 sacks. Philadelphia Eagles. 4 guys for double-digit sacks. So, the Eagles are going to bring a lot of pressure. And they don't just bring one guy. Eagles do a great job of, like, pressuring without bringing the blitz. So, the Eagles might not have to bring a 5th or 6th guy, which means they could double somebody. Keep an eye on McCaffrey out of the backfield, Kittle, Debo, or Brandon Ayuk. So I think the Eagles can control, maybe not control, but mitigate San Francisco's game. And then, can the Eagles get the wide receivers going? Because teams don't run the ball in San Francisco. So that means A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Can those guys make plays? Because I think the area between the linebackers and safeties could be where the 49ers are most vulnerable. I think it's going to be a crazy game. It's going to be a hard-hitting game. I don't know exactly what kind of game will be, but to me, I think Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback. And remember, bad news for Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Rookie quarterbacks are 0-4 in conference championship games. Brock Purdy is not just going up against arguably the best team in the NFC, but going up against history, a bad kind of history. Can he overcome that? We'll find out tomorrow. On to Kansas City, where we have a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game between the Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm not going to call it Burrowhead Stadium yet, but thinking back to last year, I can't believe it's been 12 months since these teams met in that AFC title game, but I think we're in for another class in the mall. I mean, we've got the 2 best quarterbacks in the game, and Joe Burrow and Pat Mahomes. And I think you have a contrast in quarterbacks. With Joe Burrow, I think you have potentially the most all-around quarterback I can remember in a long time. I think he's fought Peyton Manning. There is no quarterback who manipulates defenses pre-snap like what Burrow does. He can get the defense in so many kerfuffles, it's unbelievable. He's fought Tom Brady, always show cool under pressure, but brings a little bit of this, a little bit of that, enough arm strength, enough mobility, enough big playability, can scamper out of the pocket. He can do things that no other quarterback can do. Not even Mahomes. And you look at Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals possess the best trio of wide receivers in the game in Jamal Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. And if you look at Jamal Chase, he has been a pain in the Kansas City pork sandwich. The last three times that Cincinnati and Kansas City have met up. If you think back to Week 17 of the 2021 season, Chase caught 11 balls for 266 and 3 touchdowns. In the last year's AFC title game, Chase caught 6 passes for 54 yards and a touchdown. No, the in the Week 13 game between these sides, Chase caught 7 balls for 97 yards. And what I've noticed with Cincinnati's offense is that Jamal Chase is a target monster. If you look at his targets throughout the year, 16, 9, 10, 6, 12, 10, 11, 8, 15, 13, 11, 13, and in the playoffs, 12 and 8. Joe Burrow is looking Jamal Chase's way. Those two have developed probably the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the league, not just because they both started at LSU in 2019, but they understand each other. Burrow and the Bengals can take deep shots, or they can they can maneuver their way down the field slowly but surely. We saw last week, despite not having 3 offensive linemen, the Bengals did a great job of the short passing game, quick run, and rushing with Mixon and Piron. So I believe in this game, Cincinnati would like to take shots. They can protect Burrow, but Kansas City can get a lot of pressure. I think the Chiefs will second the NFL with 55 sacks, and Arrowhead's going to be loud tomorrow. But the question is, can the Bengals protect Burrow, get the running game going, so that Burrow's not under duress like he's been in the past? Because if Burrow's got a clean pocket the ball, it's going to be a long night for that Kansas City defense. Speaking of the Chiefs, I know Kansas City fans are wondering how healthy will Pat Mahomes be. Pat Mahomes going to be fine. He dealt with a similar injury a few years ago, and played like Pat Mahomes. He'll be fine. He might not have quite the mobility, but he'll be Pat Mahomes tomorrow. But I believe this is a difficult matchup for the Chiefs, despite Cincinnati not having 3 offensive linemen. It's unusual to see arguably the most talented quarterback in the game and maybe the best head coach slash offensive play caller, Andy Reid, struggle. But I think they have a kryptonite in the Bengals because the Chiefs are 0-3 against Burrow. Yeah, all 3 of them have been close games, but Joe Burrow has played really, really well in those games. And more importantly, the Kansas City Chiefs have not finished games well. If you think back to let me see if I can get it. Week 17 last year, the Chiefs only put up 3 points in the second half against Cincinnati. Last year's AFC Championship game, the Chiefs only put up 3 points. And if you think back to Week 13, yeah, the Chiefs put up a couple touchdowns, but they were already down 14. But the Bengals have got an ability to adjust no matter who you're facing. It could be Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can adjust on the fly. And Lou Lamoriello and the Bengals do a great job of taking away your ability. They can adjust in the second half. And I feel like what Zach Taylor and Lou Lamoriello do is they can adjust in the second half of games. And whether it be drop eight, bring pressure, maybe jam the receiver, maybe take away something. But I think I I think not just physically, but maybe the Bengals getting Kansas City's head a little bit because it's a problem. It's a problem when certain teams have certain matches. I mean, remember forever the New England Patriots gave Peyton Manning problems, and all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 times he faced them, Peyton Manning figured out the New England Patriot defense. Well, the fact that Cincinnati and Kansas City are playing for the fourth time in 13 months, maybe Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs will figure out something because, I mean, Mah- because obviously we know what Mahomes can do. Travis Kelsey has been unbelievable in the playoffs. I think he caught 14 passes against my Jags last week. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of Kelsey catching everything. Yeah, 14 of 7. Yeah, caught 14 of 17 targets from 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. 35.8 DraftKings points. Give me a break. Might be a position Jags need to upgrade in the offseason, but it's not true. But we'll see about that. But I think Travis Kelsey needs to have a big day tomorrow. Obviously, no Tyreek Hill anymore, so I think the Kansas City offense has got to give Kelsey help. It can't just be all Travis Kelsey. So that means Juju, MVS, Sky Moore, maybe Miko Hardman plays tomorrow. Let me see if he is potential. Well, he's questionable, but I look at Kansas City's running backs and potential X factors. Yeah, game because Pacheco, the young rookie, can make big plays in the running game, but I think Jaron McKinnon is going to be huge, not just as a runner or receiver, but potentially as a pass blocker. The more if Mahomes can't move quite as well, I think McKinnon could see a number of plays. He beat that check down, make big plays. I saw him early in this year when Mahomes did a Mahomes play and McKinnon took it to the house. I mean, McKinnon's got wheels, and he might be somebody who could give Kansas City problems, particularly if they drop everybody and focus attention on Travis Kelsey. So we will see what happens in that game. I think it's going to be another great showdown. It would not surprise me if it's like 27-24, but okay, my picks. I know everybody's wondering who am I picking to win on Championship Sunday tomorrow. I love the San Francisco 49ers talent. I think Kyle Shanahan's an amazing coach. For rookie quarterbacks 0-4 on Championship Sunday, and I think that number will be 0-5 after them all. I think the Eagles win 24-20. I think Nick Sirianni and the Eagles get the job done. Playing at home, Lincoln Financial Field's going to be loud. I'm sorry, Debo, but it's going to be loud. And I think this is the year I think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will fly to Glendale. And then with the AFC, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to consecutive Super Bowls. I think it'll be Andy Mahomes and Reed will be 0-4 against Burrow and the Bengals. I can't believe I'm saying that. Zach Taylor could be in back-to-back Super Bowls, but I think the Bengals, if they can protect Burrow, can win this game because I think the Bengals have a better running back and better wide receivers. And to me, in this game, I think the wide receivers matter more than Kelsey. Now, if Travis Kelsey went nuclear 12 for 180 and 3 scores, well, then the Chiefs will end up in the Super Bowl. But I like the Eagles and Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I mean, to make the Super Bowl. But heck, I mean, we just saw the 49ers and Chiefs play a Super Bowl not that in Miami 3 years ago. So Lord knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So thanks for tuning into the stream. Can't wait for a conference championship weekend tomorrow. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.